Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train your child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it." Sounds nice, yeah? But how do we see these results, and how do we even go about training our children? Welcome to Catholic Faith Forum, your #1 Catholic youth show, where we discuss matters bordering on faith, morality, and popular culture. Today on the show, we'll be talking about ministering to children. Stay with us, don't go anywhere.
For St. Dominic's Catholic Church, the church already has this beautiful way that the children are always having fun. The children are good to go in St. Dominic's Catholic Church. Beautiful activities for them most of the time. Throughout the year, they are always in a good... the church is doing well for the children.
Plenty things where we know even they do self. You know, make I not talk, say, some parishes when I don't travel come up for around this our parish. To attract children, so many things them, you know, because even for them to even come alone, for them to come church alone, not be small thing. You know, the while they wake them up and all those things there. Small encouragement they did now. Do biscuit for them, do small thing. They go take rub mouth. Encouragement. Even big people say they need encouragement. Not the talk of say small children then. The real encouragement. They come, you go see the house, the food, not be small thing. House of God, the church self no go feel they take them. You understand? Now the encouragement now. Part of the encouragement with that. You know.
Welcome back to the show. My name is Chima, and today we are discussing ministering to children. Like I said, I have two guests with me on set, and we'll be discussing, who will be discussing this topic with me. I have with me Olugbenga Koka, a clinical psychologist, and Eze Uchechi, an early years teacher, a member of the Catholic Charismatic Renewal Movement of Nigeria, and a reading consultant. You are both welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us on set, and we hope to have a wholesome conversation. What are the basics that people should know when parenting and mentoring children?
Okay, parenting, mentoring, that sounds close to me. But one of the facts is that the thing I will sit on for this particular topic is about the qualification of the person to parent or to mentor an individual child.
You need a qualification?
Yes, we do need a qualification because the things we don't have, we cannot give. So, take for instance, the average person has gone through school maybe from the age of 3 to the age of like 30 to become a consultant at one thing or another, like herself then, or like several other person, an accountant, an engineer, a this or that. All that, parenting or grooming has just been a passive part of their learning process. The active part of their learning process has been in the co-curricular environment, in the 4 walls of a class, learning how to be this, how to be that. So I do not know how it is possible to pick things up passively and be hoping to, like I say, I've not flown a plane before, but I'm hoping because I've done some, yes, so I should be able to. So a lot of the decadence, you know, or the degradation in that system is because certain individuals are not properly tutored to be who they are supposed to be. So it's not something we can do passively. So that is first. Every individual should get to the point where we are appropriately schooled, either formally or informally, to take on the role that is ahead of us as parents or as mentors. Because to mentor or to parent children means that taking whatever little that they have to helping them discover it, developing it, and giving it a commercial value, because you know it's about everything now. So they discover, they develop, and give it a commercial value. But in cases where you don't even know what it is or how to go about it, good intentions are good, but unfortunately that is all there is to it. Just good intention. Yes. So we need appropriate skills to help these children from point A to point B, from every developmental milestone to reaching their utmost potential or height in life at every point in time. So that is very key. An individual has to be trained to be able to achieve that. Then train also to understand the uniqueness of a child. So that one is also very key. An individual child, like I said, individual differences. A child is different from B. We do not compare two children because there's no ground for comparison. there is no ground for comparison. If that happens, what usually happens, we hear of sibling rivalry in children. So it's parents most of the time or certain adults that set them up for those type of things. So we do not, yes. They set them up, say, can't you do like your sister is?
Okay,
then you are beginning to instigate violence or set up some things in the heart or in the mind of those children. So we do not want to do that. So appropriate training is crucial to developing any type and every type of parenting or coaching program, especially when it comes to the young one. Then knowing the catch, train up a child, train up a child, train up a child. There's a particular time, there's a particular frame where training is crucial. After that, it is patch up. There is. You see, psychologists believe that the personality of a child is from between the ages of 0 and 7. Some say 6. But whatever happens as a child, 70% of that personality is fully formed. The remaining 30% is just an adjustment all through life. Now imagine if you leave that training till 10, 12, 14, 15.
All right, sir. So let's hear from Uche, being directly involved with children. So how do you handle inquisitive children, and how some of the basics that you acquire, that you need to acquire to be able to do what you do?
Okay, first off, just like he said, every child is different. So that is, if you're a teacher, if you're a psychologist, you're dealing with children, you should understand that every child is different. So what the learning style that works for one child will definitely or might not work for the other child. So if you are dealing with an inquisitive child, I would say that the young children of this generation now, the upcoming children, they are very, they're very alert. So first, you must do. If you're working with an inquisitive child, you must do what you want the child to do. Take, for instance, if you want a child to cultivate the habit of reading, the child should see you read as a parent or as a mentor or
as an elder brother
teacher.
or anything.
Like the children coming to the library to read, you can't tell the child to read.
And you are
And
just
then the child, maybe
phone.
the child picks up a book and begins to read because you're introducing something new to that child. As in when either you like it or not, you're a model for that child. So when the child sees you reading, even if you're not reading, sees you pick a book, flip through the pages, the child is, okay, let me read, just because they see that you're doing so. An inquisitive child is a child that is always asking questions. I get a lot of questions. There are so many words as a teacher that children will just ask you and be like, okay.
Where do I start from?
As in, because they want to know. And thirdly, you must answer questions from children, always. Because they would always ask. And if you don't give them the answer, they will get it somewhere else. So it's better to give them the answer or channel them. What I do is when a child tells me, oh, what's this, what's that, what's this? I say, okay, I learned this by reading this certain book. Can you actually read it and tell me what you realize from that book? Now, the child is eager to know that thing, and the child, now, you're channeling that energy, that inquisitiveness into reading. Or you see a child, maybe the child doesn't like to read, and then the parent is like, oh, he doesn't like to read, but he likes to play with his Legos, he likes to, he likes trucks, he likes trains, and you're like, okay, no problem. So what I do is, I get books, we have books, varieties of books, so I get books that has to do with trains, has to do with Legos. There are books that teaches a child how to actually create different things using Legos. So you give the child a book that, okay, the child sees the Legos drawn, pictures, very colorful, and it's like, wow, is this Legos thing? Yes, you can actually learn how to build something, you can build a spaceship from this.
From
and the child
that book.
wants to read it. The interest is the Lego, but you're making that child begin to read. So the child now gets to know, okay, I can actually read a book and learn about doing something. And it goes from there.
So how about children with, children have generally short attention spans. The littlest things can distract them. A child is playing here, next thing he sees another one and goes there. So how do you handle this, especially when you are trying to model a child to go a certain path that you want them to go?
Okay, so every child has their level of attention span. So for me, as an early year teacher, you can't keep a child still for so long because that is actually that's how the developmental stage of that child. So you make fun, you create fun around the child. So in the reading club where I also do coaching for children for literacy, we run a 3-hour program. But you find out that in between those hours, we have different activities. We have painting. So it's not, learning actually happens during whatever you're doing. You're actually learning. You know, Montessori says you learn by hands-on activities. So it's not until there is a structured pattern of learning. You can channel the child. That child doesn't want to read. He wants to play. Allow the child to play, but give the child what to play to get. So a child is tired of, for instance, when we read a book, we read our books for 30 minutes. First, you make the child into the book. The child is involved. So the ancient fashion of reading, when I remember reading is, my mom would say, oh, you have 2 hours for reading. You have to sit down and read for 2 hours. No, it doesn't work now. Or maybe the child would just hate reading. The child would just want to read because if I don't read, my mom is going to. But to get the child to love reading is like letting the child read at its own pace or space. We read under the table. We read outside. We read lying down on the mat. We also now do activities that are related to the book. So it's more like we call it reinforcement. So you read something, you do activities. So the child doesn't want to read, but the child wants to play. So let's paint. For instance, you read a book about rainbow. You know, you learned about rainbow through a book, and then you can paint a rainbow color. You know, so that child is learning, like you're reinforcing what you've read. So tomorrow the child wants to remember, oh, I painted something about rainbow, and the child might also want to go back to the book to look. So a child that doesn't want to read wants to play. Play is actually learning. You know, play is fun, but then play is learning. So when the child is actually playing, the child is learning.
All right, sir. So how important is faith in mentoring children generally?
Awesome. At that particular point in time, I think it becomes very key because like I said before, the things we do not have, we are not able to pass it across. There are a lot of emotions that is flooding the society now. So it becomes, our faith becomes the anchor on which we are able to, first of all, hinge ourselves, then move on to actually mentoring or training or teaching or disciplining, because yes, the particular child that is under our tutelage at this particular point in time. So for us, it's an advantage because everything is spelled out. So it's a guide for us. It's a moral, you know, it's direct our moral compass, value, and the rest of it. So it's everything. It's almost everything for us. It's all encompassing by itself. So if we're able to follow the tenets, the dictates of our faith, we'll discover that the outcome is already predicted. And so it's just like a simple science, but in the social environment. So once we do it exactly the same way, we're going to get that same result at every given point in time. So we are sure that there's an end and the expectation will not be cut short because there's a process to it that is already embedded in the faith that we practice. So once we do it, we are assured of a very good end.
Interesting. So, okay, Uche, let's go over to you. How do you introduce the more serious aspects of life? For example, moving a child up from play books to more serious books, and even in faith, how do you introduce the more serious aspects of life and faith to a child?
Okay, so it's a gradual process. Our psychologists here will tell us that the developmental stages are different. So let me use my work as an example. For children, so we have different books. I'm using reading now. We have different books for different ages. Now, they all teach the same thing, but the method this book is going to teach. Like a book for 0 to 3, they're very strong. We call them hardback. And then they're more of pictures, less words. Some touch and feel. The child can feel the book. Now that is the 0 to 3 age. So when the child is getting to 4, now you're beginning to teach the child how to learn some certain sounds, and the child is beginning to sound some words, beginning to learn how to read. So the book begins to graduate from just pictures to simpler words.
So it's basically as they grow older,
yes, as
you give them...
Well, you already introduced them, so they understand that there is, okay, the words, they learn the sounds, like they learn sound of environment in the home, you know, the sound of the microwave, the sound of the doorbell, the sound of this sound. So they already have something up. You've already introduced them that, okay, there are sounds, but not speech sounds.
So is this the same thing in faith? When you are going from little to little, is it the same thing in faith?
Yes. I feel that if you introduce, I'm a Catholic. I was born Catholic, and I'm still Catholic, and it was from my younger age. You know, I see we always do the prayer of the rosary in the house. I really didn't know what it was.
But you were just doing it.
I was doing it. You know, it was more of like a model kind of lifestyle. So I saw my parents do it. I saw my siblings do it. Then, okay, I got to catechism class time. You know, everybody. Oh, Saturday, everybody's going for. So it's I think it's step by step. So I see that these things. This is what we teach. This is the faith. They let me know. Sometimes I say it's mechanical. Sometimes they just teach you. Oh, you need to know the Our Father. You know, you know it. But when you now begin to go for catechism class, you begin to understand what the prayer means. You know, then when you get to the confirmation, you begin to learn. You know, the real. You know, confirmation is like they say it's giving you the power to, you know, like confirming and sealing everything. So you cannot express, you cannot explain. So, but if I didn't get to understand, I didn't get to know the prayer.
Okay.
When you begin to, it becomes very new, like foreign, like, okay, you know, you can't teach a child how to use the right hand when the child is old. You know, so it's a step.
So do you believe it's mechanical, just as she said, or are there other things that are involved in graduating a child from little to more advanced in both faith and in life, especially in faith?
Well, at certain times it has to be mechanical, but the reason why I say it has to be mechanical is that, you know, because of the mirror neuron in the brain of a child, so they tend to imitate what they see. So at that point, they do not understand, they just imitate. So it could be mechanical at that phase, but as they grow into understanding, that means communication. So that is what fosters understanding, explanation. When they do it wrong, when they do it right, say, do you know why it happened like this? This is, so we open the line of communication, especially in the way. So yes, we can start from that mechanical point of view because they model what they see, but explaining them into maturity now, they begin to understand why, and they now make their own decision based on, one, the foundation they have, two, what options they have at their disposal.
It has really been an interesting discussion. Unfortunately, we're out of time and we have to go. But we've learned so much, and I'm sure our viewer out there has also learned a lot. There you have it, my people. It's not enough to just foist your children upon the teacher in school or the teacher in Sunday school. It's also your prerogative to actually make sure that all these things that they learn in school and in church, you keep forming them with it at home. We'll head over to the Know Your Faith team now for today's episode. Stay with us.
What do you need to know about the virtue of humility? Hello, I'm May, and you're welcome to Know Your Faith series. So a friend of mine and I were talking the other day, and I teased her and asked her to learn to be humble. She went on to ask me if being humble was the same thing as having the virtue of humility. So I decided to dig a little deeper and share with you what I learned. First of all, because human beings have a basic sinfulness and selfishness that we struggle with, the virtue of humility is one of the most difficult for us to understand, choose, and live. Humility is known as the mother of all virtue. And true humility is the foundation for holy living, and without humility, you cannot attain holiness. True humility requires that you give yourself completely. As St. Augustine says, the way to Christ is first through humility, second through humility, and third through humility. Humility is a moral virtue which enables a person to understand and appreciate their position in the world with respect to God and other people. It does not deny one's basic goodness and giftings, and it is also against looking down on other people. There are 6 basic ways to cultivate the virtue of humility. First, pray for it. Second, obey legitimate authority. Third, be quick to take correction. Fourth, rely solely on God. Fifth, know that you are nothing in comparison to God. And sixth, think better of others than yourself. With these 6 steps, you are way on your way to cultivating the virtue of humility. And you will thank me later. That's all for today. Feel free to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. And we'll be with you next time. Till next time, be bold, be Catholic.
And that was Know Your Faith for today. That brings us to the end of Catholic Faith Forum for today. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you so much for sticking with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Gbenga Coker, for coming on the show. And thank you so much, Uchechi Eze, for coming on the show. It has been a pleasure. All right, make sure you catch this episode on our YouTube channel, Dominican Media Presents, and you can also catch past episodes of the show. You can send us questions, inquiries, suggestions for our guests in case you need questions answered about your children. Send them to our social media handles at CFF on TV across board on all platforms. Until we come your way next time with another wonderful episode of the show, keep being saints in jeans and shirts.